Speaker. And just to respond further to Mr Allister, he says there should be no special treatment for this particular section of society. But earlier on we discussed children with special education needs. Now, why do we feel the need to be specific about that group? Because their outcomes were poorer, and indeed, and we want to ensure equality of opportunity, and the same should be said for those of a different sexual orientation, or those of a particular sexual orientation, that the outcomes are poor. Bullying is higher.
Will the member give way?
Certainly.
I think that is a surprising and dangerous comparison to make. To take what he would call the gay community and to say that in some way, because we make special provision for kids that need special educational needs, we make special provision for the gay community. We make special educational needs provision for children of that position because of an element of special needs touching upon their mental capacity. And it's right that society does that. But it's not a mental capacity issue when it comes to the matters of gay adoption or gay marriage or gay anything else.
The principle is one of equality of opportunity in whatever section of society, whether it be Protestant working class males or the gay community, or indeed if there's evidence to show that the Christian community is somehow being discriminated against or have poorer outcomes. I will defend and work for the rights of those people regardless. I have very little time because Mr Allister spoke quite long. I will if I have time. I will fight for anybody's right for the equality of opportunity, and the reasons for poor outcomes need to be investigated. But there is no doubt judeo-homophobic bullying, which has been exacerbated by the comments of some members of this Assembly and indeed some members of political parties in this Assembly, through language that denigrates the LGBT community. We have to ensure that we send out a message, because I think they find no solace in this Assembly in terms of what we've delivered. It's worth noting that since devolution in 2007, not a single penny has come from OFM-DFM to support groups working with LGBT community and try to help them to exercise their rights and to fight and tackle discrimination. Not a single penny, and I think that's an indictment of this Assembly and of OFM-DFM, because there are many groups across society we fund, whether it might be racial groups, new communities coming in. We rightly try to ensure that they have quality of opportunity through education, through health services, and do not face the discrimination, and we should do the same for the LGBT community. If we look at the legislation that's come to this House or has come in other jurisdictions, we look at civil partnerships, and it was opposed by the DUP, thankfully came in through direct rule. Equal marriage has been opposed by the DUP, and unfortunately a majority, albeit a narrow majority in this House. Gay adoption, can't quite say it's been opposed, but it's been restricted by the DUP because, of course, a gay person can adopt. Unfortunately, someone in the civil partnership cannot. And the party that proposes that it supports family and supports commitment ensures that those who have committed in a civil partnership can't adopt a child, even though a single gay person can. I think that contrasts with their claims around their position on the family. Blood donation is another issue that we're all well aware of, and each one of these justification will be given, and they will say, don't call it homophobia because we don't accept that term. And I try not to resort to that term because I'd rather win an argument rather than by insult. But when you take these things collectively, you have to question, what have you done for the LGBT community? What will you do for the LGBT community? All that's being asked is to produce a sexual orientation strategy that you committed to in your own programme for government document, you've committed to in the Together Building United Community document. You say you believe in it, but then you put members up to vote against the motion just to call for it to be progressed. Well, why would you do so? So we're calling on the party to give solace to those who are facing homophobic bullying, that this Assembly will act on their behalf, that this Assembly acts on behalf of all the people of Northern Ireland, that this Assembly is going to look at the issues which affect the LGBT community and is going to address them where they can to ensure equality of opportunity for everyone in our society, regardless of race, religion, creed or sexual orientation, or for that matter, disability. And I'm sure I've left out other groups. But equality of opportunity should be for all. I'll give way to Mr. Maskey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Agnew. Could I just come back to the point of strategies, because obviously we all have an obligation to ensure that there is equality for everybody and everybody should be at the same level of equality across society. But just you yourself mentioned, the member mentioned through yourself, Deputy Speaker, the issue of strategy for children, for example, with special needs. And you would also not agree that there are strategies for victims, for example. There are strategies for children and senior citizens. We have an older persons commissioner with a children's commissioner. We have a strategy around disadvantaged communities, gender equality. So we do need to have a set of strategies to make sure that all of those people who, through no fault of their own, suffer a variety of barriers, and we have to develop strategies to take those barriers down. Thank you.
The final thing I'll say, Deputy Speaker, is that yesterday we unanimously supported Mr Allister's amendment to protect the Christian community from worship on a Sunday. Can we not have a generous majority in this House to support members of the LGBT community to ensure that they have equality of opportunity?
Calling Mr Stuart Dixon to conclude and wind up.